Welcome to Terrastorian, the channel where we explore Arknights lore. I am Akka, and in today's video, we will be celebrating the upcoming Chinese New Year, the Year of the Snake. By exploring the ancient race of Pythia or Phidia, we will examine both operators and NPCs of this serpentine race, and discover which real-world snake species inspired each character. Just a heads up, Pythia and Phidia refer to the same race. The story initially uses the term Pythia, but this was later changed to Phidia in the lorebook and the subsequent story updates. So for narrative consistency, we will try and stick with the original term Pythia, but occasionally you might hear me say Phidia. So without further ado, let's slither into the lore. Before diving into the details, let's refresh our understanding of the Phidia race in Arknights. Pythia are a humanoid-like race with distinct snake or serpent traits. These include scaly patches, serpentine tails, and occasionally pointy ears similar to those of Sarkas and elves. They are typically slim and agile, with heightened senses such as sight, smell, and hearing that reflects their snake-like nature. Some may even exhibit abilities inspired by real-world snakes such as infrared vision or sensing. Despite their slender appearance, muscular Phidia like Ace and Sharp also exist. While Phidia aren't inherently venomous, many have the ability to produce toxins or venom through other means. Interestingly, some of the members of this race work in the fields like chemistry, which adds a touch of irony to their biology. This uncommon race is primarily found in Yan and Sargon, but faces a degree of discrimination and stereotyping. Although their situation is not as severe as that of the Sarkas, they are often treated unfairly or with caution. For example, the Yanese phrase "di to shi," meaning scoundrel, and the Victorian term "snake in the grass" are both derogatory references to them. One of the most notable positive traits of the Pythia is their strong sense of dedication and focus. This characteristic reflects their patience and precision of real-world snakes when hunting. Now that we've covered the basics, let's dive into the operators and NPCs who belong to this fascinating race. Eunectes. As her name suggests, Operator Eunectes is inspired by the anaconda Eunectes. Hailing from Sargon, she leads the tribe in Akawala. Initially, she insisted on being called her real name, Zumama, when she first joined Rhodes Island. However, during one of her mechanical projects with Closure, she adopted the name Eunectes, which still many associate her with. Despite this, most people on Rhodes Island continue to call her Zumama. Eunectes' lifestyle reflects her tribal traditional ways, shaped by the jungles of Sargon. However, her love for machinery often clashes with these traditions, propelling her forwards in innovative breakthroughs. She shares a unique bond with Lance too, which others find amusing. This bond has led her to call Closure her master, engaging in playful apprenticeship activities that Closure humorously dismisses. Zola is inspired by the spiny bush viper, a candle holder for the Sui regulator. He is part of Yan's secret agency tasked with managing Fermat-related issues. On Rhodes Island, Zola is often seen monitoring the Sui siblings. He spends his time stalking Nian while losing to her in gambling, observing Chongye combat lessons, and dealing with Ling, Dusk, and Shu in their respective activities. Eventually, Rhodes Island management encouraged him to relax. Zola's journey is one of self-discovery. As a young boy, he outperformed soldiers in human, driven by his interest in the military. Though he had the potential to become an official, a chance encounter with an old man in Beizhou inspired him to join the Candle Holders. He cherishes his time in Dawang, where he learned discipline through farming, a value he carries in his interactions on Rhodes Island, especially in logistics. Melanite is based on the cottonmouth snake. She was once a weapons tester for a black market Colombian company that put its employees through dangerous experiments. Although the pay was meager, Melanite joined due to her history. Her father was a former Black Steel employee. He lost an arm during an accident, but received substantial compensation, so he started a small store with his wife. Tragically, her parents were killed during a robbery, leaving Melanite unable to act out of fear. This event fueled her self-doubt and anxiety, preventing her from continuing her education. Her oropathy diagnosis terminated her job contract and brought her to Rhodes Island, where she now works as a field operator in exchange for treatment. Initially cold and distant, Melanite struggled to adapt. After her first mission, she threatened Midnight with her railgun over an argument, but this incident eventually led to a mutual understanding. Shalem is inspired by the Mexican Black King Snake, a reserved and enigmatic operator. He avoids close connections due to a haunting past. After losing his family and village in a flood, he was adopted by the prestigious troupe that promised a life of artistic grandeur. However, this life came at a cost, as children endured relentless training and psychological pressure to meet the troupe's high expectations. Shalem excelled, mastering Originium arts, but the trauma left deep scars. Many of his peers succumbed to the pressure, and the memories of those times still haunt him. Shalem struggles with his identity, torn between the persona crafted by the troupe and his true self. Corroserum is inspired by the King Cobra. He serves as Assistant Director of Experimental Prototype Engineering at Raytheon Industries and is currently stationed at Rhodes Island as part of a collaborative agreement. His responsibilities include technological exchange and testing advanced products. Clinical reports confirm he is free of oropathy. Corroserum is known for his precise and efficient work ethic, often completing tasks with minimal excess effort. While this can make him seem detached, those who work closely with him appreciate his reliability and technical expertise. Specializing in corrosive weaponry, he has developed innovative materials amplified by arts units that effectively disable enemy equipment while minimizing harm. Rosault is inspired by the European asp, a wandering herbal doctor from Iberia. She brings Rhodes Island valuable intelligence and research support. Initially mired for her sweetness and willingness to help, her history of petty theft came to light when she attempted to steal a bracelet. Rhodes Island caught her, and her punishment involved replicating the bracelet multiple times. This experience helped her to understand the importance of genuine interactions, prompting her to shed her overly sugary persona. Rosault's medical knowledge is rooted in observing wildlife and experimenting with herbal remedies. Her treatments, although unconventional, are often effective, sometimes comically so, like prescribing doses meant for large animals. She also carries incapacitating plants for self-defense, a habit that raises eyebrows among some operators. Before joining Rhodes Island, Rosault lived a life of survival and deception, mingling with both the elite and the underprivileged. She used her charm to barter or gather intelligence, and hints of a noble upbringing appear in her etiquette and artistic knowledge. Verdant is inspired by either the large-eyed pit viper or the smooth green snake. Born in a Victorian farming town, Verdant's fascination with plants led him to excel in botany at university, where he gained a reputation as a brilliant student. His promising career was cut short when he contracted oropathy, forcing him to leave his studies and his nomadic city behind. Returning home, he faced discrimination as an infected, eventually becoming a plant hunter to support himself. Seeking treatment at Rhodes Island, he joined as a field operator and now contributes to pharmaceutical research by blending botany, bioengineering, and pharmacology. Indigo is inspired by either the eastern indigo snake or the white-lipped island pit viper. Her character is steeped in cultural heritage and mystery, centered around her unique staff. This artifact, featuring an advanced arts unit at its head, serves both as a tool and a symbol. The staff produces a soothing light capable of powering large-scale facilities, hinting at an advanced technology with potential A-gear origins. Moreover, Indigo's arts have subtle neural effects, creating a sense of warmth and comfort among those exposed to them, adding to an enigmatic nature. Indigo's journey begins on Iberia's rocky coast, where she was raised under the guidance of her teacher, a wise Libri who maintained a lighthouse. Before urging Indigo to leave, her teacher entrusted her with a staff and a cryptic mission: uncover its secrets and restore the lighthouse's light. This decision was both an act of trust and response to an unstated urgency, propelling Indigo into a journey. Despite her initial doubts, Indigo's resolve grew stronger as she embarked on her mission. The task ahead is both technical and symbolic: a journey to restore the lighthouse's light and, perhaps, rekindle the hope for Iberia. At Rhodes Island, Indigo finds support and resources, but also encounters new questions about her teacher's motives and the deeper meaning of her quest. Mantra is speculated to be inspired by the eastern diamondback rattlesnake. She is one of the last two remaining Pythia elite operators at Rhodes Island, alongside Sharp. Mantra is enigmatic and taciturn, serving as the leader of Rhodes Island 3rd Operations Squad and as Operator Elysium's superior. Before joining Rhodes Island, she was a member of Babel, demonstrating her long-standing connection to the organization. Mantra's arts are particularly formidable, with the ability to target and disrupt people's minds. While she is fond of gossip, she prefers to let Elysium do most of the talking, keeping her presence understated yet impactful. Elysium in turn holds her in high regard, declining multiple promotions to remain under her command. Mantra made her first appearance during the final chapter of the Reunion arc, leading a Rhodes Island squad deployed in the operation. However, she has only recently appeared more formally in the Arknights' main story, specifically in the Babel event. The exact species Sharp is based on remains unknown. Sharp was born in Colombia to two mercenaries and received extensive combat training from them during his early years. Following his family, he emigrated to Sargon and eventually became a seasoned mercenary, working under various padishahs. After a decade of service and over 100 battles, Sharp left Sargon and joined Rhodes Island as one of its founding operators. Initially, Sharp approached his missions with detachment, avoiding unnecessary actions and keeping his distance from fellow operators. However, over time, he began to trust Rhodes Island and embrace its ideals, which rekindled a sense of purpose he had long buried. Since becoming an elite operator, Sharp has shed much of his reserved nature. He actively engages with medics to expand his medical knowledge. He trains tirelessly with other operators like Stormeye and even cracks jokes during missions. Sharp's combat reflects his training under the Sargonian court, showcasing efficiency, dedication, and precision. Ace's exact inspiration from the Snake World is unclear, but he remains as one of the most iconic elite operators in Rhodes Island's history. Present since the Babel days, Ace was not only a formidable fighter, but also a mentor to many new operators. Known for his camaraderie and unwavering loyalty, Ace frequently participated in the antics of his fellow elite operators, while always maintaining a reliability as a leader. A staunch believer in the Doctor, Ace played a critical role in the operation to rescue the Doctor from cryosis in Chernobog. During the mission, Ace and his squad faced overwhelming forces from Reunion. Despite being cornered, Ace held his ground to buy time for Doctor and Amia to escape. In a heroic final stand, Ace tanked attacks from Tallulah, Reunion's leader. His sacrifice left an indelible mark on Rhodes Island, solidifying his legacy as a symbol of courage, loyalty, and selflessness. Tulip is inspired by the blue-lipped sea crate. She descends from an Iberian pirate family, With her rebellious spirit, fueled by the tales of her ancestors during Iberia's Golden Age, and her dissatisfaction with the Inquisition's rule, Tulip formed her own band of bandits, intending to challenge the Inquisition's authority. However, her rebellion was short-lived, as she and her followers were captured by the Inquisition. During her transfer to the Inquisition fortress for judgment, her convoy was attacked by the Seaborn. In the ensuing chaos and a subsequent catastrophe, Tulip was left the sole survivor and became ostracized as an infected. Determined to aid her fellow infected in Iberia, she took up the name Tulip as a codename. Calcet later invited Tulip to join Rhodes Island, where she became the head of the Iberian branch. Her efforts focused on improving the living conditions of the infected in Iberia, and addressing the challenges posed by the Inquisition and the Sea Terrors. Faust, whose real name is Sasha, was a Pythian orphan and childhood friend of Eno, whom we now know as Mephisto, one of the integral members of Reunion. Despite their differing upbringings, the two formed a deep bond. When Eno became infected, Sasha refused to abandon him and vowed to share his fate. Together, they survived the wild, before joining the Reunion movement under Tallulah's leadership. Sasha, adopting the codename Faust, became the leader of the Phantom Crossmen, known for their ability to move unseen thanks to his arts. He played a key role during the Chernobyl crisis, notably infiltrating Lungmen during the Reunion's assault. Faust's fate diverges depending on the medium. In the anime, he sacrifices himself, luring away Mephisto's horde to buy time for his men and Mephisto to escape Lungmen, ultimately falling to the LGD arrows. In the game, Faust holds the line against Rhodes Island and the LGD, fighting to his last breath to ensure his comrades' survival. Nine's exact origins remain ambiguous, but her design may be inspired by the common crate, the common king snake, or the bandy bandy. Her snake-like features and possible connection to mythology suggests inspiration from the Gorgons or Shang-Lao, the nine-headed serpent in Chinese mythology. Once a member of the Lungmen Guard Department and Chen Sr., Nine's life took a drastic turn after an originium bomb accident. Both she and Chen contracted oropathy, but while Chen offered to help her conceal it, Nine chose to leave the LGD. She later worked as an informant for the LGD, but under the call sign Only One within the infected slums. During the battle in Lungmen's slums, Nine infiltrated Reunion, but ultimately sided with them after witnessing the destruction caused by the Shadow Guards. After Tallulah's arrest and the loss of the Reunion leadership, Nine assumed control of the movement. Under her guidance, Reunion shifted towards protecting the infected, most notably orchestrating the rescue of Tallulah and launching efforts to aid the infected in Londinium during the Sarkaz occupation. Nine's arts revolve around plant manipulation, particularly venomous plants, aligning her abilities with a druid-like persona. As the current leader of Reunion, her actions and connections to other characters hold potential for significant future updates. Kashchey is the host of the Deathless Black Snake, is likely based on Kashchey the Deathless from Russian folklore. As an ageless or long-lived being, Kashchey has played a significant role in Ursa's history, manipulating events to strengthen the Empire. A staunch believer in conflicts as a means of prosperity, Kashchey has orchestrated numerous wars, including the Chernobyl crisis. His arts allow him to manipulate memories for his benefit, although he can only influence those who are aligned with his ideology. Kashchey's influence spans centuries, with hosts placed in key positions throughout Ursus. His philosophy and actions have deeply impacted the Empire, and his connection to the Lord of Fiends and the Sarkaz Royal Court underscores his pivotal role in Terra's history. Despite his apparent death at Tallulah's hands, Kashchey claims he only truly died when Ursus no longer embraces his ideals. Ho-Ho-Heyak is not based on any real-life snake, but instead she's inspired by Kukulkan, the winged serpent deity of Mayan mythology. She is a descendant of the Elder Race and one of the last. Hohohayek's unique physiology includes Libri-like feathers and a Pythian tail, but her true heritage grants her the arts that manipulate air and wind, enhance physical abilities, and a mysterious connection to the stars. There may be potential future Pythia characters in both Arknights and Arknights Enfield. And that wraps up today's video. I hope you enjoyed it and found it informative, whether you're an Arknights player or someone just curious about its rich lore. If you like the exploration of the Pythia, be sure to check out our other video where we dive into the races and nations of the Arknights universe. Thank you so much for watching.